Welcome to Geekonomy channel. I'm your executive host Igor, and today we're gonna talk about Severance Season 2 Episode 1. Look, this is not gonna be a recap. This is not gonna be a short video when I'm gonna present you some ideas. If you are a crazy fan of Severance, if you have been looking for a channel that has a slogan, "There is no such thing as a detail too little to be shared," then you are in the right place. I am crazy about Severance. I watched this episode twice already and I found a lot of interesting information to share it with you. We're not only gonna deep dive as fans, we're also gonna geek out on some amazing things and events that happened in this episode, and I think it was a 10 out of 10 episode. I enjoyed every second of it. I can rewatch it I think many times, and I just want to share my emotions and ideas with you. We're gonna talk about Mark against the Machine, the first part of this video, the first part of this episode. We're gonna discuss what's going on with Helly, whether it's her or maybe it's Helena undercover. We're gonna talk about Miss Huang. We're gonna deep dive into Mr. Milkshake's new room, and of course we're gonna talk about his strategy with Dylan. This is gonna be an interesting video, but before we begin, as usual, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon and on YouTube. Your financial support, your donations is what make this channel possible. Thank you so much for your support. In this video we're gonna have a lot of interesting facts, but always remember,
these facts should be very pleasing. Try to enjoy each equally.
As I promised you, we're gonna start with the section that I call Mark against the Machine. He's waking up, and he's waking up from the moment that we have seen in the end of season 1. He's screaming his lungs out. He is alive, and this is why he wakes up exactly like that. And the whole sequence with the camera movement, I think once again 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 cinematography wise. I don't know exactly how they were filming it, but I really hope they're gonna show it to us, maybe in some kind of a Apple bonus material or maybe on YouTube bonus material, because the camera movement, the way it was circling around Mark while he was running through the halls, I mean, this is something I have never seen in my life. The way it was filmed, absolutely amazing. I promised you we're gonna geek out and we're gonna fan out about some moments. I don't want it to be just, only details, boring, dry video with me sharing everything that I was able to find, because I love this TV show. I am absolutely a fan. I think it's one of the greatest TV shows of our generation, and it deserves all the praise that it can possibly be provided for this show. Anyway, we're moving forward. Also, what I enjoyed is I was following Mark's journey in his fight against the machine here through the clock. We can see like he arrives every morning at 9:05 a.m. Like for my American viewers, I have to always like add the AM and PM, and we can see that the wellness room is being completely demolished because Miss Casey was fired and nobody was hired in her replacement. So we can see this is the wellness room and it's no more doors. You remember we had 2 doors here, one to O&D and one to the wellness section. This is where Irving met Bert. So this is the room. You remember this is like episode 2 in season 1. And even here in this moment we can even see a sign, like a leftover from the painting. You remember the crazy painting with the bearded dude fighting with the goat and the ladies there, like he's taming the tempers or something like this. And this moment, like, he kind of looks like Mr. Grainer, but Mr. Grainer is dead as far as we're concerned, but so is also Miss Casey. Is it possible that Mr. Grainer is still there and he's still following other people? Like, I don't know who else, but it's obviously a mystery. It's been shown to us to be a mystery. It's not like something that's hidden. They wanted us as audience to notice that somebody is watching Mark, and it's obviously not Mr. Milchik. And if you're wondering, yes, I will keep calling him Mr. Milchik because this is the kind of a humor that I enjoy. And this is why we need to remember Ben Stiller is the director, and we're gonna have a lot of interesting dry humor moments in this episode. So yeah, like here, this guy, I want to talk about him just a little bit. He's speaking Italian, like he's a very Italian guy. Even when he's talking in English, he has this accent. Oh my god, please let me know where is the pen. Oh my god, I enjoy talking with the Italiano accent so much. It's so much better than my own Russian accent. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So yeah, like maybe when somebody is that emphasized like having an accent, speaking Italian, always like he's even like drinking espresso. I mean, of course, because he's Italian. Or, I mean, what else can he be? I think in most situations when we talk about TV shows and movies, when somebody is presented like that, probably in real life his Alti is not Italian at all. Maybe he's like fascinated with Italy, with the culture, with the language, but probably not really an Italian. Maybe, I don't know. This is just me speedballing here a little bit. Anyway, we also discovered that his old office in Italy was so old, was so like cheap and poor, and they had like brooms instead of Egans in their perpetuatory, oh my god, this word is gonna kill me, zone, you know, where the Egans are standing usually. So yeah, they were very poor. Now we know that, you know, Egan, Keir Egan, Lumon have offices all over the world, in every country. So it's completely possible they're gonna have a couple of offices in Italy. But why would they relocate somebody from Italy to this place? I think it's a little bit far-fetched. Anyway, moving forward, like they were so poor, they didn't even have money for the crystal ball. Like they had like something made out of wood. And also at this moment, I want to take a break from the episode and I want to praise again the whole marketing campaign that was working on this TV show. Like you have seen something they did on the train station when they presented like a live play of all the Inis working inside of the glass ceiling like room. It was absolutely amazing. And also they made this website where you can put your photo and it's gonna give you this blue balloon there with your face. Everything, the small details, you know, this extra to the trailers, it also makes us as fans feel more connected to the show, and it's absolutely fucking amazing. If you're wondering why I'm so excited, like I'm a big fan of The Lord of the Rings. When the movie came out, I was like 13, 14, 15, and since then I'm always looking for this emotion. Like I'm a junkie for this. I'm waiting to be excited, to geek out about something, to be a geek about something, because this is something that makes me feel so alive. This is something that fills my life with passion. I'm waiting for something, for a new episode. I'm excited about it. I want to talk about it. And when there is a TV show or a movie that can create this emotion inside of me, I will never hold it inside. I will always share it with everybody. This is the main point of this YouTube channel. Yes, of course, this is something that I want to do for my living. Obviously, I told many of you that in 2025, this is something I will try to do my best to make my career. I quit my job, I quit my day job. This is all I'm doing right now, hoping that maybe this is gonna be one day my main job. But the main goal, like the reason why I want it to be the main job, because I want to be able to talk to people that are as excited as I am about those movies and TV shows. And yeah, we have to get back to the episode. So we see that Mr. Milchik is saying to Mark that basically the events of the end of season 1 happened 5 months ago. And it's completely possible because, you know, for Inis, there is no time passing. You go out to the elevator and then no matter how much time passed and outside, for you it has been just a second. So it's completely possible that it's been 5 months, but I'm a bit dubious about it. Because at this moment here, when he's looking at his screen, it still shows him Miss Cobell. And he's saying like, you've promised me already for a while that it's gonna be fixed. Now, either it hasn't been 5 months, or this whole operation was just renewed a couple of days ago, and this is why he's still seeing Miss Cobell here on the screensaver. I think maybe the second option is more plausible, but I want to present you all of the information so you will be able to decide for yourself. Now here in this moment, he's once again quoting something out of the principles of Keir. If you remember, we must be cut to heal. This is something we have seen in Miss Cobell's house in episode 3. She has like this wooden plank there, and it's written, we must be cut to heal. This is once again one of the principles, one of the beliefs of the whole Keir religion, and this is definitely a religion. It has all of the signs of it. They are definitely trying to raise a new population that worships Keir through the severance process. I mean, this is something that's not arguable even. So yeah, we're moving forward here. Once again, there's 9:15. It's been only 10 minutes since he is here, and he's going to Mr. Milkshak's room, and then he's presented this newspaper, and we kind of talked about it a little bit already in my review of the trailer. But since, you know, we're doing this once again, and maybe you are seeing me for the first time ever, I want to go through it once again. So we have like 3 articles here. The left one is basically talking about the Bear Creek bandit, somebody that comes inside the houses and steals everything. Now, if you remember, Miss Selvig, or Miss Cobell, whatever you want to call her, she was always going inside of Mark's house, and she took his candle, something that they were using after that in the wellness session. And the Bear Creek, this is where Mark lives. Baird is also one of Egan's CEOs. We're gonna actually see him again. Now, the middle article is obviously about our Innies and how they are amazing and they are so popular, and they even took a photo shot of Kennedy before his assassination, and they photoshopped our Innies inside, like, look how popular you are. So obviously it's a fake newspaper, of course. But here in the middle article, they're also talking about Rick and Hale, how he wrote another book about how fucking awesome Kier Egan is or something like this. So they are trying to influence them. They know almost everything there is to know about Innies. They know how this book influenced them in season 1. So they're trying to show that even Rick and Hale, their hero, basically came to the light and right now worships Kier Egan. Now the right article is also very important because they talking here about recycling, and I'm right now doing my rewatch of season 1 and I'm doing reviews about it, and we're talking exactly about this recycling theme. This is something that's been emphasized to us in season 1, and I think this is something they are actually doing with the whole macro data refinement process. They are recycling people, either broken people like Mark or Irving, or even people that maybe were near death experience, or maybe even dead. Like maybe they are completely dead, but through this technology they are able to revive them and create for them a new personality, something like this. But let's get back to Rick and Hale. Like we can see in this moment, like Mark is talking about meeting Rick and Hale, and even Dylan, who consider himself super alpha male, like the alphast of the alpha, he's like, you know, Rick and Hale, everybody's so excited about Rick and Hale. He is their hero, he is their guru, he was the one that showed them the way to rebellion. So obviously they're all very excited about it, and of course seeing him in newspaper, it's, oh my god, it blows their mind. Now we're moving forward here, and we can see that Mr. Milchik is reminding us about the hymn. Like this is something that's been classified as a torture that needs to be, you know, refined right now. They're making a new Severance, a new Lumen process for you. Everything is going to be completely new, a new break room, a new everything. And if you remember this hymn, I kind of agree with them. It kind of did look like a torture, like the way she was singing the hymn, but I'm hoping I'm gonna be able soon arrive to this moment in my rewatch experience, and I really want to actually analyze every word of this hymn because I'm fascinated with the whole Egan religion, and I think it's built completely amazingly. The whole lore, everything about it is making me super excited, as you can probably already see. Anyway, we're moving forward to this moment, and we can see that Mr. Milchik is just unpacking. Look at this statues, the statue of some duck and Kier Egan behind them. They're still wrapped in the bubble paper, or I don't know how it's called. And also this moment when he's saying, like, as an unsevered man, I can say, I think for a lot of us in the community, that we were all trying to think maybe Mr. Milchik and Miss Selberg are still severed and they maybe don't know about it or something else. But his behavior is very weird for somebody who is unsevered. Like, this is not a normal human behavior. When he talks to Helly, yeah, in season 1, in episode 2, when he's talking about, you know, like the whole severance process, he is a completely normal human being. Also, when he talks to Mark, when Mark took a sick day, also completely normal human being. But in the severed floor, he is a crazy person. So I don't know if he's unsevered or not, but there's definitely something about him. Maybe he was also raised somehow in this whole Egan, Kier Egan, you know, like atmosphere, like exactly like Miss Selvig, who was raised in the Myrtle School or something like this. So maybe Mr. Milchik is also a product of a new kind of education. So yeah, also like those guys, the new team that Mark actually killed here is saying that they also showed up just an hour before Mark. So this whole project was made for Mark. I mean, if really 5 months passed since season 1 ended until this moment, So they were shutting down. This whole floor was shut down, and they really wanted to bring Mark back, probably, yeah, but for some reason Mark is very important to this project. I don't know why, maybe because of his connection to Miss Casey, maybe something else there. Still, I don't see any specific reason why Mark is so important to Miss Selvig and obviously to this whole project, but they brought those people, so this room, this floor will keep functioning. They were there for Mark's benefit. Once again, I really hope we're going to be able to see soon why Mark S is so important. So this moment we can see it's 9:35, so the day is just starting. And here in 9:37 they went to the kitchenette to have this, the Red Bull session, which was pretty weird. And this guy, Mark W, he's talking about his previous branch. It was called 5X, and he was working there with Gwendolyn Awai. I think it's kind of cute that they have a character named Gwendolyn. It's not a very popular name, and Gwendolyn Christie, who is an amazing actress, is gonna be in this TV show. We saw her in the trailers. I think it's not a spoiler, but if it is, I really apologize. Sorry. And here once again we can see that the day is past. It's 5:10 p.m. Okay, and right now the next day they changed the clock. So probably what we have seen so far until this moment, they're still rebuilding. Okay, they just opened up the shop for Mark benefit, and right now they are trying to rebuild. They even changed the clock, the color. I don't know why it's important, the color of the clock, but they actually changed it. So it's 9:04, he's arriving, and they talking about the choreographed dance, like they had their room with the Egans, and they were even robotic, they were doing some kind of a dance. It's 9:08. Once again we talked about religion, and we talked about brainwashing, how they want everybody to worship Kir there. And you can see even on the sticky notes you have the praise Kir. I mean, you're taking space somewhere where I could write something, and you write in your stupid praise Kir there. So once again, this is brainwashing. This is how it works. And if you are thinking right now, yeah, I'm too sophisticated for that, nobody's gonna be able to influence on my mind with that stupid technique. But no, it actually works on almost everybody. If you are bombarded with the same message for days, months, and even years, your brain will start to justify it and will start to explain to you why you actually believe in this. This is how brainwashing works. So here, once again, it's 5:11, another day is over, and then again 5:20 he leaves, and the next day 9:04. I know it's kind of stupid, but I told you there is no such thing as a detail too little to be shared. I want to be able to present to you this whole experience. And yeah, we can see that Mark was very funny here. By the way, we're gonna have a section today when I'm just gonna share with you all of the jokes that I think are landed. It's not gonna be too long, obviously, because there's nothing to talk there about it, just to geek out and just to fan out about this dry humor that I really enjoy. So yeah, in this moment when Mark was making fun of Mr. Milchik, he was talking about the 9 core principles. Just to remind you, we know some of them. I don't know if we're gonna see all of them, because right now on my rewatch I'm on episode 3, and this is where we have seen the vision, verve, wheat, cheer, nimbleness, probity, and wills, whatever this is. I need to have my dictionary today with me. Anyway, moving forward, and when Mark trying to talk to the board, once again we can see this static feedback, we can hear the static feedback. So what can it mean? So far we didn't hear from the board. Does it mean that board doesn't exist? Maybe there are humans there, maybe it's something computerized, maybe it's an artificial intelligence. I hope not. I kind of tired of the whole AI theme. I want to see something more original here. Anyway, we're gonna have to move forward and wait and see. So once again, why Mark is so freaking important. He is demanding to see his team back, and they understand that this project, this floor, this macro data refinement is not gonna work if Mark is not gonna get what he wants to get. So they send him back, and we don't know how much time passes. Like we can see, this is the time, and then when he obviously in fear that he's gonna die, and you need to remember, we need to remember that every time they go to the elevator, there is a fear of death. There is a fear that your ini is not gonna come back. Sorry, your alti is not gonna come back, and then the ini dies. He just dies. He stops existing. So obviously Mark is very scared here, and when he comes back he already sees a painting they remodeled. So probably a couple of days past. They needed to take time to basically bring everybody back. Now we look at this image and now we're seeing Kier Egan again. He is pardoning his betrayers, as we're gonna learn a little bit later. There are 3 men, there is 1 woman. Obviously, it's not a very subtle hint like why this painting is here, and we can see, as usual, Kier Egan has a halo around his head. Like if you remember, once again, season 1, they were playing the Lumen Bingo when Irving and Mark were showing the whole Egan room to Helly to make her more motivated to stay in this place. They had like a bingo game to not be bored about it, and one of the sections was Egan depicted with the halo, so they know like already this is gonna definitely happen. I wonder if they have a drinking game there with the Innies. Anyway, we're moving forward. Like as I told you, Kier pardons his betrayers. Dylan understands what is going on here, obviously, and we move forward. Like this moment was very nice for me. I was just enjoying it as a fan because like Mark, when he looked at the elevator, when Irving arrived and Dylan arrived, and he was like, come on, come on, come on. He was so waiting to see Helly because he's obviously in love with her, and I think it was a very endearing moment, and I was so happy when he finally sees her. They're like hugging, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Helly, whether she's Helly or she's Helena undercover. I think there are good arguments for both cases. Anyway, we're moving forward to the new and improved break room, and they even hired Keanu Reeves to voice over this weird figure there. Anyway, once again, we'll notice the colors, the blue and the red, once again are very dominant in this TV show, and we can see some of the motivational posters like the I am Frolic Aholic. Once again, Frolic is one of the tempers, one of the 4 tempers that Kier Egan tempered. You remember the painting, we have Woe, we have Frolic, we have Dread, and we have Malice. Anyway, it's not all. We have the Be Ever Merry, and we have a very creepy bee there with the face of Kier Egan, because why wouldn't they put face of Kier Egan on fucking everything? And we have another motivational poster with the Baird guy, the previous CEO, and this is also the place, the Baird Creek. This is where Mark and Miss Selvig live, and this is the guy. We have seen him also in season 1 in the CEO room. Now also notice in this shot we have the usual red and blue colors, but also we have the green color, and it's not the first and the last time we're gonna see it. Also in this small game that Miss Huang is playing, we have also like the blue, the red, and the green colors. And there is a lot to talk about the whole 3 personalities. We talked a lot about the Innies are the blue ones, the red ones are the outies, there's the passion, there is the efficiency, and there is the green color. And actually, like if you remember in season 1, when Mrs. Selvig she's talking to Mark and she visits him, she sees like 3 lamps, 3 light bulbs, and 2 are working and 1 is not. And she's like, when are you gonna fix the 3rd one? And he's like, yeah, whatever. Like it felt like it's important. Also, we were seeing like there's a new 3rd personality with Petey there. When you are basically reintegrated, you kinda a combination between 2 people, and this creates a completely new one. So yeah, something to think about symbolism of this show. Now here we can see also another motivational poster with the Hank in there, and I think we actually seen Dylan there. You remember him holding, the buttons in the end of season 1. Look at this poster. We actually saw this in the promotional materials with Ben Stiller here. This is a different angle. It looks very much like Dylan there holding the door, holding the buttons. Like I think this is something that was made once again specifically for them. So they not just for employees. They are not replaceable. Apparently, they are very, very important. I don't know why, but hopefully we're gonna see it in episode 2, because probably this episode is gonna be completely already dedicated to the Outies. This is one completely dedicated to the Innies. Now we're moving forward. Now this guy with Keanu Reeves' voice, he's saying you probably don't recognize me from this angle. And I mean, I kinda do. You look a lot like the Clippy that we had on Windows, if you remember, 98 or 2000. I don't remember exactly, but we had this weird dude, and it looks a lot like him here in this situation. So we have another lie here. First of all, he's saying that this is branch 501, the previous branch was 5X that we talked about, but the lie here is, There is no pool, there is no river, there is no lake in front of this building. There's just parking space. So once again, why lie? Why present so many lies when sometimes I don't see even a reason? Like if you're gonna put a parking spot here, are they gonna be demotivated? Are they gonna feel like more miserable? Maybe, I don't know, but it feels a little bit unnecessary to me. Anyway, moving forward to the history, like we can see this house, and it looks a lot like the house of Kir Egan. We're seeing the development of this house, how it became a factory, and how it became this already building. So yeah, another weird thing, they're talking about lumen factories, and we talked about it today already in the beginning of the videos, that every country probably has a lumen office, but they're talking about 206 countries. Now, I'm not that good in geography, so Google help me. There are 195 countries, so 11 extra countries. I mean, this is an alternative universe. We have a town here that it's called Kir. Maybe Lumen Industries also, started 11 new countries while they were at it, opening new towns, opening new countries. I don't know why, but it also feels deliberate. It's not like people that are making this show don't really know how many countries out there. So this is once again a deliberate detail that adds to the lore of this show. So another interesting thing, of course, how we gonna do a TV show that's called Severance without goats? You gotta have some goats. You gotta give me more cowbell. Sorry, we didn't have Christopher Walken in this episode, but we're gonna have more cowbell in this season. Of course, we have the goat because goats are very important. We also have 2 rabbits here. I don't know if they are important or not, but goat is there. So we can finally breathe. Anyway, we're moving forward. Once again, the religion theme is very strong here. Thank Kir, not thank God, not thank anything else, that thank Kir for the macro date uprising. Yeah, let's thank all Kir. Anyway, we're moving to the theme that I'm more excited about. I'm excited about every theme, but this one is very interesting to me because so far I'm undecided myself. I'm leaning a bit towards the option that this is really Helly. But as I told you, there are arguments for both scenarios. So first of all, she's talking here about the cameras, and somebody in my Telegram chat told me this is probably her, trying to create this false sense of security. Nobody's watching you. Let's talk, let's discuss about everything. So maybe it is Helena. I think it's a little bit far-fetched, but anyway, possible. Here, we have already an argument for her being actually Helly R. She is given this story, which is obviously a lie, okay, that she saw the inside of a very fucking boring apartment, and she was watching a TV show with sweatpants and t-shirt, and then there was a guy and he looked like a gardener. And even Irving called her on her bullshit, like a night gardener? This is not something that exists as far as I'm concerned, or as far as everybody knows. And the reason I think this is an argument for Helly being Helly, because this is something that an Ini would invent in her or in his mind to lie about, about reality. If Helena was there, her being, a daughter of Egan, a very powerful CEO, she by herself a very powerful and smart executive, she would probably invent something way more realistic without, the night gardener story. So I woke up, then I called the police and I told them the story, and I called this news reporter. She would be able to invent something way better than I talked to the night gardener. So I think this is the strongest case for her being Helly. Another thing, here when she talks to Mark about Miss Casey, we can clearly see she's not faking that she likes him. She's a bit jealous, she's a bit worried, obviously here. She discovered that his wife, his Ini's wife, is actually here in this place. And, they had a moment, she obviously has feelings for him. So we can see she's not faking it. And yeah, Mark comforts her, but here in this moment also, it didn't feel like fake. It didn't feel like she's faking it. When she's saying, we are not the same. We and the Autis are completely different and we don't owe them shit. Like this anger that she has towards Helena, towards her Audi, the one that told her that she's not a person, and now she even knows that she is the enemy. She is the face of the enemy. This resentment it's not something that's easy to fake. And even if she did want to fake, like, what is the reason? Once again, you don't really need a lot to manipulate and lie to those guys. They're pretty much children. So once again, there is a lot about Helena being Helly here. This is Helly R in my opinion, and I'm leaning towards this option. But once again, people in my Telegram suggested, first of all, to notice that she wasn't able to turn on the computer from the first try. Yeah, it can be explainable, she's still a newbie there, but anyway, like if you turn your computer like 2, 3, 4 times, this is something you're gonna be able to do automatically, even when the button is somewhere concealed, maybe it's under the table or something like this. But the strongest point for that, argument that she is basically Helena is her leaving the elevator. And if you remember, everybody was leaving the elevator exactly at the point where they left us in the end of season 1. Mark S was screaming his lungs out, Irving was still screaming bird and knocking the door of the elevator. He didn't even understand that he's already not inside, he's not on the street. He didn't understand that he's inside of the elevator. And Helena, if you remember, she was tackled. She fell down on the floor when, this whole rebellion was stopped. And here she just kind of falls through the elevator, yeah. But once again, if this was the case for her, she would fall down completely. She would be on the floor. She would be completely disoriented. Like, your whole balance, your system, your body balance, when somebody tackles you, it loses control completely. And if she would wake up normally, if this is the first time she wakes up in the elevator after season 1 end, she would be on the floor, in my opinion. So I'm leaning towards her being Helly, but I'm recognizing the arguments for her being Helena, and I think they're also pretty valid. Anyway, we're moving forward, and I want to talk about Dylan. Like, we have seen this guy, he has some insecurities, and because of his insecurities, he really wants to be special. He really wants to be recognized as somebody who is special. That's why he's always after the perks. There has to be some signs that shows that he is unique, he is better than everybody else. Like, even in this moment when he's saying to them, like Mark is saying to them that we are all famous, and he's like, are we all equally famous, or maybe somebody is a bit bigger, like maybe me? So yeah, like this, what Milchik is actually uses in this situation. First of all, we can see he has a secret room here in his office, and he shares this information with Dylan, and probably he lies again. He's saying that his wife's name is Gretchen. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lie. And he takes him to the room. He shows him like the family visitation suite. You remember what happened in season 1 when Dylan actually saw his kid. He became obsessed with seeing his family, and he attacked Mr. Milchik. So they are actually giving those innies what they want. But I don't see any situation where actually Lumen is gonna build something like this and gonna give the innies a possibility to talk to the outies. It's gonna ruin the whole experience. So obviously, once again, it's another lie. Even in this moment, like when Dylan asks, I will be able to see my family, and Mr. Milchik is like, yeah, if you take this at face value, yeah, so there is gonna be a catch of some sort. Even if this room is gonna be available and it's gonna be built, there's gonna be a catch of some sort. But once again, he is pushing Dylan's button. He's like, everybody else in your department is single. It is so sad. Oh my god. Please don't tell them. You are the special. You are the unique one. We are gonna share this secret between us because once again, you are so freaking special, Dylan. And it obviously works. Of course, it's gonna work on him because this is his weakness and this is what he desires, to be unique, to be special. So let's talk about Miss Huang. Now, her name means yellow. I don't know if it's somehow actually, important here, but we also seen the combination between green and yellow was also an important color here in season 1. Maybe, I don't know, kind of seems a bit far-fetched for me, but once again, I notice, I share, and I think this girl is gonna be a star. I had a blast watching her face expression. She can have this face of, completely adorable teenager, like a kid, like, oh my god, such a cute kid you have there. She's like giggling, and then this as a death stare. I'm your manager. I'm not your friend. I think we are seeing right now a birth of a new star. And if this girl is gonna keep that way, she's definitely gonna be one of the brightest spots of this season. Like at this moment when Mr. Milchik is smiling at some joke in this video they are seeing in the break room, she is once again having this death stare, and she's probably a new person. She's probably someone like Miss Casey or maybe Mr. Grainer if he's still alive somehow. This is what I'm thinking here. She is a newbie, completely new human being. Maybe she was also like had some kind of a near-death experience, but I don't think she leaves this place. I know we were talking about kids in season 1 and there was this organization and they were like warning everybody that Egan, he wants to sever kids, but I don't think they got approval for that yet. Anyway, we're moving forward and she's saying basically she was a crossing guard, and you know, this is something I used to do as a kid and this is something that you usually do on the outside. So how does she know that? Was this an information that was shared with her because you usually don't know a lot about your outies? Or if she was a crossing guard, maybe she was a crossing guard in here, in this place. Or maybe everybody here, like Mr. Milkshake, like Selvig, they were bred as new people, like right away with all of the 4 tempers being tamed, like Mr. Egan hopes and wishes for the whole humanity, and this is a completely new human being that's gonna worship Kir and be effective at macro data refinement or some stupid shit. Anyway, I want to get back to this game, and since we talked about, you know, red, green and blue circles, it kind of once again felt a little symbolic to me, like she caught her the red circle, and we know that the red is the soul, like this is the passion, this is the outie, and it kind of felt like we're gonna catch some fish, you know, the outie's fish here. Maybe it's gonna be shown to us in episode 2 what exactly happened, but it actually felt that way. We caught them, we actually got them. You know, the innies, the outies, everybody who was somehow involved in the whole rebellion, we brought them back, we got them, now we have them. Anyway, we're moving forward to Miss Casey. And you know, Mark is sharing with everybody what he discovered, and we see here in the end when they're starting to refine the numbers again. And if you remember, every one of those 5 boxes, when you open them up, they are showing to us all of the 4 tempers. Once again, the Frolic, the Schmolik, and the Prolic, whatever they are. And as you can see, the name of this new file is called Harbor. We talked about it in my rewatch of season 1. All of the names of the files are somehow connected to a place. Most of the times it's a town. Sometimes it's a region, or maybe, I don't know, some kind of a district or something like this. Now, Cold Harbor, this is actually, there was a battle of Cold Harbor, so it's not like a town, but it is a place. It's connected to a place somehow. Once again, it's a location. So here in this moment, I don't know whether Mark experiencing these flashbacks of some sort, or it's shown to us as an audience. We can see that there's the Cold Harbor file. This is what happens in the back office. When they are refining the numbers, this is what happens in the main computer. Maybe in the mind area, you know, you remember Petey's map? You have this big mind area where everything is probably controlled. So we are seeing here like the Cold Harbor, the 68% progress here, and we can see that this is somehow connected to Miss Casey. We can see the number MP4 00263, like there's some kind of a pocket rate, pocket time, duration. We have like hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds here. And if you remember, this is the chip we have seen in episode 2. I was just doing a review of this episode a couple of days ago, and we also have a number here, MP400281. So it's probably connected somehow. This is probably Mrs. Casey's chip number. Once again, I love those tiny details, and we can see that those different folders are also under her face. And once again, we have the Woo, we have the Dread, we have the Frolic, and we have the Malice. And each folder have their own percentage, like we have 4.6, we have 2.1, we have 1.8. So either they're creating 5 human beings, or they are like creating 5 different maybe personalities in her. Like I cannot understand why we need 5 folders, because like as far as Kier Egan concerned, like every person have those 4 tempers, and as soon as you tame them, as soon as you put them in a very specific percentage in a human personality, you're going to be able to achieve everything, and the world is going to be at your knees or something like this. From his quotes, that's not me saying, this is the crazy bearded guy saying. So yeah, but why 5 times? Okay, and we can see that there are different numbers, like here Wu is 4.6, then it's 1.2, then it's 2.6, so it is different. Anyway, I would love to hear or read your thoughts about it. So Wu, Frolic, Dread, Malice, and we can see her face, and we can see 4 different circles. This is once again probably a visualization. Oh my god, this word is gonna kill me. It's of the 4 tempers. Once again, one is bigger, one is smaller, so this is the percentage why, how they are differentiate in people's personality, and we can see that what they are doing is basically what I told you just a couple of days ago. They are recycling people. When this person is old, is dead, we can throw it in the trash. Okay, this is like a bad plastic. You send them to this black room with the elevator that goes only down. There they are getting connected to some kind of a system, and macro data refinement is creating new people in different areas. Sometimes it's Minsk, Belarus, sometimes it's this cold place, whatever it's called, sometimes it's a different American states, and this is how they are creating and recycling, because recycle is very important to Lumen. They're recycling new people. I'm more and more convinced with this theory as we progress. So just a couple of details that I wanted to talk about. Let's look at Mr. Milchik's room. First of all, we can see the new poster with an iceberg. So yeah, it's not a very subtle hint. This is all just the tip of an iceberg, and we have seen so far just the tip of an iceberg. I mean, how many more hidden rooms you can put in this place? Like only in his office we have 1. Here we're seeing some kind of a toothpaste, but it's actually not. I looked at it on eBay. It's basically the bonsai tree wound sealant, so it's something that's been used to treat the bonsai trees, and we're seeing one here in his room. So it's probably a leftover from Mrs. Selvig, or this is something that Mr. Milchik is doing by himself. And this is just a different angle of this room. Once again, the poster, the Kier Egan statue there. And if you remember, Miss Selvig had actually Kier Egan's bobblehead there. So it's very similar, but it's different. Also, I want to like run through it as fast as I can, but every joke that landed, I just want to share it with you. Like this whole throuple idea that Miss Selvig was so fascinated and so romantically involved with Mark, and she wanted to be in a relationship with both of his personalities, with Innie and Outie. This whole concept of the throuple, by the way, something that I learned today, thanks Google. I didn't know it actually exists, but anyway, it exists. But you know, thinking about this concept in the context of Innie's Outies is very funny to me. Also, like the "why are you a child because of the way I was born" is also one of my favorite jokes. I already talked about it in my trailer analysis. Like this speech by Mark, this whole like this shambolic Rube who goes by Milkshake, I was laughing out loud in this moment. Like everybody in the apartment heard me. Luckily my son was not sleeping, otherwise my girl would have killed me in this situation. And like also their priorities. Every time I see Innie's priorities, when he's like, you wanted to basically frame me to get rid of me because I have the same name as you are. It's like, it's funny to me. I hope it is funny to you too, but I just love this smart humor that makes you think before you actually laugh. And if you're thinking quick, then you're gonna be able to laugh a lot at this TV show. Like this one is like, do you even have a brother-in-law, asshole? Like who would lie about having a brother-in-law? Like what is the point in that? Once again, I was just enjoying every moment, every joke in this episode. And of course, Dylan, when he sees Irving being completely out of it, being completely depressed, his like first reaction is, oh my god, what happened? Are you poor in there? Like this, once again, in his mind, this is the worst that's gonna happen to you, because like Dylan thinks he's something absolutely amazing, he's Outie. And then if you're gonna discover that you're poor, oh my god, this is horrible. Also, like when he tells like you kill those guys and fuck them because whatever, don't feel bad about it. This is so Dylan, this is so in his character, because once again he's always wanted to present this tough personality. I'm like, let's do this, I'm the alpha guy, I don't give a shit about anything. Once again, I love this character. I love every character in this TV show. They are all absolutely amazingly written. And since we're talking about Dylan, the whole being bummed about there are easels up there. I mean, they are building up so much in their mind what is going to be outside, how beautiful outside is there. And here they have a lot of paintings, and like this whole O&D department is responsible for it. It's like, oh my God, there are easels up there too. This is not only here. I mean, this whole outside is not as amazing as it is. Absolutely loved every joke in this episode. Now, in this moment, I'm going to talk a little bit about the trailer. I want to share with you some moments that are connected to the trailer from this episode, and then they are giving us an insight towards what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna go through every moment in the trailer and when we're gonna see this or something like this. I think this is a bit too much. But since we have seen, once again, Mr. Milchik lying his ass off many times, I wanted to show you. And by the way, this is the time for you to turn off the video if you don't want to see some spoilers. In this moment when he's saying like, your outie basically begged us to come back, we have seen in the trailer Mr. Milchik is actually coming to Mark's outie, and trying to convince him to come back. There is a conversation between them and he's saying like, you would see that it's completely different there and he's very happy there. He is trying to convince him to come back. So Mr. Milchik is full of shit. We should take with a grain of salt everything he says. Also, another thing, we have seen this in the video, like a new incentive. You're gonna play some very crazy, very traumatic, potentially traumatic game when you need to catch a pineapple with your mouth. Usually you do this with apples, not pineapples, but okay, maybe I missed something once again in my teen years. And we have seen this moment, and I was wondering what is going on, why Helly R is being pushed into water. This looks like Guantanamo Bay, and now we understand this is just a game. This is a new incentive. This is a new activity they can do in Lumen. So this is something we're probably gonna see in episode 2 or 3. But what you're gonna see right now is me saying thank you so much for watching until this moment. If you wanna support me and my channel, you can do it in any way that feels comfortable to you. You can like, subscribe, write a comment, whatever you wanna do. If you don't feel like it, this is still amazing because you watched the video until this moment, and this is the greatest support you can give to me and my channel. And I hope you like this video, and I hope you will come back for more, because we're gonna deep dive into Severance for upcoming weeks, and hopefully I'm gonna make a lot of videos about it, because as you can see, there is a lot of energy inside of me. There's a lot of information that I want to share with you, that a lot of ideas, because I'm burning with passion when I'm talking about Severance, and I hope you too, and hopefully we're gonna build our small community even more. Now, as usual, I want to thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Bye!